Ioudaios is a Greek ethnonym used in classical and biblical literature which commonly translates to Jew or Judean. In its various meanings, the word has also been translated as Judaites, people of the region of Judah, Judea, and leaders of Judea. The choice of translation is the subject of frequent scholarly debate, given its central importance to passages in the Bible as well as works of other writers such as Josephus and Philo. Translating it as Jews is seen to infer connotations as to the religious beliefs of the people, whereas translating it as Judeans confines the identity within the geopolitical boundaries of Judea. A related translation debate refers to the terms Omicron Upsilon Delta Alpha Iota Zeta Epsilon Iota Nu, literally translated as Judaizing, and Omicron Upsilon Delta Alpha Iota Sigma Mu Omicron Sigma, controversially translated as Judaism or Judaism. Etymology and usage. The Hebrew term Yehudi occurs 74 times in the Masoretic text of the Hebrew Bible. It occurs first in the Hebrew Bible in 2 Kings chapter 16 verse 6 where Rezin king of Syria drove the Jews out of Elath, and earliest among the prophets in Jeremiah chapter 32 verse 12 of Jews that sat in the court of the prison. In the Septuagint the term is translated Ioudaios. Translation implications. As mentioned above, translating it as Jews has implications about the beliefs of the people, whereas translation as Judeans emphasizes their geographical origin. The word Ioudaios is used primarily in 3 areas of literature in antiquity: the later books of the Hebrew Bible, the New Testament, and classical writers from the region such as Josephus and Philo. There is a wide range of scholarly views as to the correct translations with respect to each of these areas, with some scholars suggesting that either the words Jews or Judeans should be used in all cases, and other scholars suggesting that the correct translation needs to be interpreted on a case-by-case basis. One complication in the translation question is that the meaning of the word evolved over the centuries. For example, Morton Smith, writing in the 1999 Cambridge History of Judaism, states that from c. 100 BCE under the Hasmoneans the meaning of the word Ioudaios expanded further. For clarity, we may recall that the 3 main earlier meanings were: 1. Of the descendants of the patriarch Judah, i.e., a member of the tribe of Judah, a native of Judea, a Judean, a Jew, i.e., a member of Yahweh's chosen people, entitled to participate in those religious ceremonies to which only such members were admitted. Now appears the new, 4th meaning: a member of the Judeo-Samaritan Idumean Itorean Galilean Alliance in 2001, the 3rd edition of the Bauer Lexicon, one of the most highly respected dictionaries of Biblical Greek, supported translation of the term as Judean, writing, "Incalculable harm has been caused by simply glossing Ioudaios with Jew." For many readers or auditors of Bible translations do not practice the historical judgment necessary to distinguish between circumstances and events of an ancient time and contemporary ethnic, religious, social realities, with the result that anti-Judaism in the modern sense of the term is needlessly fostered through biblical texts. In 2006, Amy Jill Levine took the opposite view in her Misunderstood Jew, writing, "The translation, Jew, however, signals a number of aspects of Jesus' behavior and that of other Jews, whether Judean, Galilean, or from the diaspora. Circumcision, wearing tzitzit, keeping kosher, calling God Father, attending synagogue gatherings, reading Torah and prophets, knowing that they are neither Gentiles nor Samaritans, honoring the Sabbath, and celebrating the Passover. All these, and much more, are markers also of traditional Jews today. Continuity outweighs the discontinuity. Academic publications in the last 10 to 15 years increasingly use the term Judeans rather than Jews. Most of these writers cite Steve Mason's 2007 article, Jews, Judeans, Judaizing, Judaism, Problems of categorization in ancient history. Mason and others argue that Judean is a more precise and a more ethical translation of Ioudaios than is Jew. Language comparison. The English word Jew derives via the Anglo-French Iuw from the Old French forms giu and du, which had elided the letter d from the medieval Latin form Ioudaios, which, like the Greek Iodio it derives from, meant both Jews and Judeans, of Judea. However, most other European languages retained the letter d in the word for Jew. The distinction of translation of Yehudim in biblical Hebrew between Judaites, Judeans, and Jews is relevant in English translations of the Bible. Ioudaios. The ancient Greek term Ioudaios, often translated as Judaism or Judaism, first appears in 2 Maccabees in the 2nd century BCE. In the context of the age and period, it held the meaning of seeking or forming part of a cultural entity and resembles its antonym Hellenismos, meaning acceptance of Hellenic cultural norms. Shea J. D. Cohen wrote, "We attempted, of course, to translate Ioudaios as Judaism, but this translation is too narrow, because in this first occurrence of the term, Ioudaios has not yet been reduced to designation of a religion. It means rather, the aggregate of all those characteristics that makes Judeans Judean. Among these characteristics, to be sure, are practices and beliefs that we would today call religious, but these practices and beliefs are not the sole content of the term. Thus Ioudaios should be translated not as Judaism, but as Judeanness."